The seventh prince of Yu, Ning Huaiming, suffered hardships from birth. His small body slowly sank to the bottom of the river. Suddenly, a purple bolt of lightning struck from the sky. Ning Huaiming, who had already stopped breathing, abruptly opened his eyes. All his past experiences flashed through his mind like a revolving lantern. The suffocating pressure of the river water brought him back to his senses. He struggled with all his might to climb ashore. A violent cough proved that this was not a hallucination. Looking at the familiar surroundings and his own seemingly shrunken hands, although unbelievable, he truly felt helpless. Perhaps even heaven felt it owed him Ning Huaiming and had given him a second chance. He clenched his fists, ambition surging in his heart. Suddenly, a loud baby's cry interrupted his thoughts. The sound seemed to be right next to his ear, but he was certain there couldn't be a baby nearby. He couldn't understand what was going on. Was it an after effect of his rebirth? Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away in the Prince Onping's mansion, the sound of a baby's cries echoed throughout the entire compound. She's born! She's born! Crying so loudly. She must be a healthy and lively little girl. She's bound to have a bright future. But why was the little miss crying so hard? No one knew that the newborn baby's body housed the soul of an adult. Zhu Yuji, who had inexplicably transmigrated, was inwardly complaining, "If you knew you were going to kick the bucket tonight, you'd be crying even louder than me." She had originally thought that being reborn as a wealthy young miss would make life a piece of cake. But the problem was, she had transmigrated into a cliché, melodramatic story where the male lead, after annihilating the female lead's entire family, triggered a bloody revenge plot. And the male lead, Prince Onping Zhu Qiaosheng, was this body scumbag father. Her mother, Lu Ruyan, despite being the princess consort, was only a vicious cannon fodder villainess in the original story. Even worse, her mother and the female lead had given birth to daughters at the same time. Her crazy scumbag father, in order to give his true love's daughter a legitimate identity, had arranged for someone to switch the two babies. And the nanny arranged by this scumbag father had already placed her sinful hands over Zhu Yuji's mouth and nose. This was how the original Zhu Yuji had died during the switching process, unfortunately suffocated, becoming a pawn in the male and female leads game. Although it was a disastrous opening, possessing the mind of an adult, Zhu Yuji immediately played dead to escape this deadly situation. Sure enough, seeing this, the nanny truly believed she had suffocated the baby. Relieved, she placed Zhu Yuji into the basket. Since the prince doesn't care about this child anyway, I'll just find someone to dispose of the body later. While the nanny turned to make preparations, Zhu Yuji, cursing under her breath, fiercely pulled the other baby girl's hair. She wanted to make her cry loudly to attract her mother's attention, but the other baby's cries were too soft. Zhu Yuji pinched the other baby's face hard. This time, the cries gradually grew louder. Zhu Yuji also joined in, wailing a couple of times. Finally, they managed to wake her mother, Lu Ruyan, who had just given birth. Lu Ruyan hurriedly asked her maid what was going on. "Why did I seem to hear my baby talking?" The maid looked bewildered. "Your Highness, you must have misheard. How could a newborn baby talk?" Suddenly, she clearly heard two babies crying from the next room. The head maid had a bad feeling. Her mistress had only given birth to one child. Two crying sounds meant something was definitely wrong. She quickly ordered someone to bring the baby to the main hall. Meanwhile, the nanny, who was in a fluster, was caught red-handed. Zhu Yuji's older brother, Zhu Zijian, upon seeing this, immediately kicked the nanny aside. "You wicked woman, what are you trying to do to my sister?" When he looked at the cradle, he was stunned. So this wicked woman wasn't trying to kill anyone, but to orchestrate a switched-at-birth scenario. Prince Onping of Nanyue, in order to give his true love's daughter a legitimate identity, had planned to switch his princess consort's daughter. Fortunately, Zhu Yuji, possessing the soul of an adult, saved herself and attracted attention. The head maid, carrying the cradles of the two babies, hurried to Lu Ruyan. Having been attending to her mistress, she hadn't seen the baby yet and was now at a loss. Zhu Zijian dragged the wicked nanny along, following close behind into the room, waiting for his mother to confront the situation. Lu Ruyan slowly sat up. She had been weak and fell asleep immediately after giving birth and hadn't had a chance to see her child. Now, looking at the two babies in the cradles, she couldn't tell which one was her own daughter. Just then, Zhu Yuji's father, Prince Anping, having received news of the failed plan, rushed over. He pretended not to know what had happened, putting on a concerned and loving fatherly expression. Seeing this, the head maid quickly explained, "Your Highness, this nanny, I don't know who instructed her, brought in another baby and tried to switch our little miss in the chaos. It was so chaotic just now that we didn't have a chance to clearly see our little miss's face. Now, with the two babies together, we can't tell them apart." Prince Pinyin looked at the two babies in the cradle. He could easily distinguish the imposter. The child in the pink swaddling clothes was his, born from his beloved. Although the situation had come to light, he believed he could still manipulate things. After all, Lu Ruyan was easily fooled. So, he sat by the bed and gently asked Lu Ruyan for her opinion. As long as she remained uncertain, he could seamlessly swap the babies. Lu Ruyan, as he expected, was indeed bewildered. She stared at the two children. Seeing one crying intensely, her maternal instincts surged, and she reached out to comfort the child. Jia Qianjin, as if by design, grasped her finger and stopped crying. Zhu Yuji widened her eyes in disbelief. This coincidence was a bit too much. It would be easy for her mother to be deceived. Prince Pinyin hurriedly tried to finalize the matter with Ruyan. "You reached out, and she grabbed your finger. She must be our daughter." Zhu Yuji, seeing her father's blatant and eager attempt, Zhu Yuji, burning with rage, slapped away Jia Qianjin's hand and tightly gripped Lu Ruyan's finger, cursing internally. The audacity! How dare she try to trick my mother? Lu Ruyan was filled with confusion. She seemed to hear a soft, childish voice. Zhu Yuji, noticing her mother staring at her, without moving, cried out internally, "Grab me, grab me. Mother, I'm your real daughter. The one next to me is a fake." Lu Ruyan finally understood. The soft, childish voice was coming from the baby before her. It seemed she could hear her thoughts. Could this be a mother-daughter connection? Prince Pinyin noticed Lu Ruyan becoming captivated by her own daughter. He quickly interrupted, angrily demanding of the wicked nanny, "Tell me, which of these two children is Ruyan's?" Receiving his signal, the nanny pointed to Jia Qianjin in the pink swaddling clothes. "This is the Wang Fei's daughter." Zhu Yuji instantly understood her father's scheme and cursed him internally. "This old fool, playing a game of Journey to the West, huh? I have God's perspective. Don't think I don't know that child next to me is yours with your little lover. You want to kill me off to make way for your illegitimate daughter? Dream on." Lu Ruyan heard every word of her inner rant. She abruptly looked up at Prince Pinyin. She realized he couldn't hear the baby's thoughts. She thought, "My husband has always been honest and simple. How could he have someone else?" Seizing the opportunity, Prince Pinyin cast aside Jia Qianjin and lovingly embraced her in his arms. Why, dear daughter, you've suffered. Daddy will deal with this villain who bullied you right away." He then ordered someone to take Zhu Yuji away. Lu Ruyan cried out, "Husband, wait. We haven't clarified the situation. Such haste is inappropriate." Her initial certainty wavered due to Prince Pinyin's impatience to get rid of the child. His behavior was indeed suspicious. Zhu Yuji also cried out internally, "Yes, father, mother is right. This old woman must be under someone's influence. We must find out who is behind this." Taking Prince Pinyin's cue, the wicked nanny immediately knelt and confessed, "Wang Fei, it was all my fault. I was blinded by greed, seeing the wealth and splendor of the Longfu, and wanted my own granddaughter to live a good life. That's why I dared to attempt this audacious swap. I know I'm wrong." Zhu Yuji watched as her father's accomplice spun lies so convincingly. Helpless as a newborn, she couldn't expose their deception. "Guess I'm going to die young. Can't get past this hurdle. Might as well give up. Just gotta die and reincarnate, right? Goodbye, conscience." Lu Ruyan heard her thoughts and saw her resigned expression, feeling a pang of inexplicable pain. She turned to Prince Pinyin. "Husband, this cunning servant is deeply manipulative. What if she risks her life to insist her granddaughter is my true child? Wouldn't she succeed then?" Seeing this, Prince Pinyin had to move to his next step. "My dear, you're right. How about a blood test?" Hearing her father's words, Zhu Yuji cursed him internally again. She desperately wanted to tell her mother this was another one of his schemes. Lu Ruyan watched her flail, as if trying to say something, but couldn't hear her thoughts. After a moment of confusion, she had a realization. Did she need to touch her to hear? She decisively reached out and touched her. Sure enough, as soon as she made contact, a torrent of baby babble flooded her ears. Blood tests can be faked. Daddy definitely added something to the water. Then he'll only test me and the old woman, confirming their story. Oh heavens, I beg you. I'm willing to trade this scumbag's lifespan for my mother's lifelong freedom from his deceit. If that's not enough, add his little lovers too. This outburst shocked Lu Ruyan. By now, Prince Pinyin had already had a bowl of water brought my dear. This cunning servant claims the baby in the basket is her granddaughter. Why don't we test them both? These words completely shattered the illusion Lu Ruyan had of Prince Pinyin. It was just as the baby had said. Her husband had deceived her. The tenderness in her eyes receded, replaced by a chilling coldness. See? I told you. This world is one giant empresses in the palace. Having heard the baby's inner thoughts, and coupled with Prince Pinyin's suggestion of the blood test, Lu Ruyan's illusions were shattered. This also made her believe the newborn baby girl's words. Zhou Shun's gentle and tactful approach, his calm response, followed her husband's suggestion. Then she quietly gave a look to her personal maid, signaling her to sabotage the blood test. The head maid had served Lu Ruyan since childhood and understood her mistress's glance, nodding in agreement. Afterwards, she deliberately jostled the wicked nanny, causing the nanny to stumble and spill the bowl of tampered water. The wicked nanny's heart trembled. She didn't know what bad luck she had encountered today. Everything seemed to go wrong. She hurriedly explained that someone had pushed her. Lu Ruyan coldly addressed her. Lu Bai was standing behind you just now. Lu Bai is my person. She wants more than anyone to verify which child is mine. How could she possibly push you? Lu Bai, bring another bowl of water. We will test again. Prince Pinyin was starting to get restless. Suddenly, a gentle voice came from the doorway. There's no need for all this trouble. Zhu Zhima, Lu Ruyan, and Prince Pinyin's eldest son slowly walked in. He bowed with his hands clasped. Son greets father, mother. I overheard a bit outside. I believe the blood test method is unreliable. Mother, do you remember before you conceived my younger sister, you accidentally fell into the icy lake and suffered from a cold illness? The doctor declared that the cold illness could also affect the unborn child. Lu Ruyan nodded. This method of judgment is the most reliable and effective. Zhu Zhima suddenly realized something. No wonder he had felt a dizzy, near-death sensation since earlier. Asterisk, I really want to drag that author out and beat them up. A disastrous beginning is bad enough, but then to give me a sickly boss character? Do they want me to die even faster? Asterisk. Prince Pinyin, holding his illegitimate daughter, felt panicked, but his expression remained calm as he directed, continue the blood test. Calling for a doctor now will take a lot of time. But before he could finish, his eldest son interrupted him. Father, that's true. I just happened to bring a doctor back with me. Let him examine my younger sister. Prince Pinyin hadn't expected his eldest son to be so prepared, blocking all his excuses. He silently closed his mouth, knowing that switching his daughters today was impossible. He pondered how to protect his illegitimate daughter. The doctor came over, took one look, and exclaimed, "This is bad. The child has a high fever." These words confirmed that the baby before them was indeed Lu Ruyan's daughter. Lu Ruyan no longer hesitated, picking up the child with worry filling her heart. Prince Pinyin, on the other hand, watched Lu Ruyan's worried expression like a detached outsider. This fell into Zhu Yuji's eyes. She forced a weak smile, thinking to herself, asterisk, don't worry, mother. According to the laws of transmigration novels, I'm the protagonist now. I can't die. Asterisk Lu Ruyan, warmed by her daughter's thoughts, but also heartbroken by her husband's betrayal, couldn't stop her tears from falling. My daughter will be all right. Prince Pinyin's deception had been exposed. He handed the illegitimate daughter to the nanny, Mantong. Ruyan, you're right. Our daughter will be fine. I think this wicked slave should be beaten to death, and then Yi Zhong should be thrown out. Lu Ruyan, having seen through her husband's ploy, dropped the facade of love. Her voice hard as steel, there's no need for that, husband. Someone, take this bastard child and the wicked slave away and lock them up. Without my permission, no one is allowed to enter. If anything happens to my daughter, I will find the person behind this and have them cut to pieces. Zhu Yuji waved her little hands and made a heart shape towards her mother. Asterisk mother is so cool, worthy of being a villainous prince. Asterisk Prince Pinyin had a feeling the princess consort was indirectly referring to him. Guilt and unease intertwined within him. Zhu Zhima noticed the subtle atmosphere between his father and mother. He wondered what was going on between them. Meanwhile, in the seventh prince's bedchamber, Ning Huaiming, who had fallen asleep, suddenly woke up in a cold sweat. He was confused. He had felt dizzy and restless in his dream, even experiencing a sense of impending death. But upon waking, he felt perfectly normal. And unlike the crying he heard last time, this time he heard a weak whimper, as if calling for mother. Whose voice was that? Could someone have poisoned him with a hallucinogen? After her daughter's illness, Lu Rian didn't dare let her out of her sight, holding her all night and refusing to let go. The head maid had to remind her, "Your Highness, please let me hold the young miss. You haven't slept all night watching over her. I'm afraid your body won't be able to handle it." Lu Rian looked at her sleeping daughter and shook her head. "It was my negligence that caused her to suffer like this. I can't rest easy unless I see her with my own eyes." At this moment, Zhu Yuji woke up. The moment she opened her eyes, she saw a flawless face and was stunned. "Mother is so beautiful." The head maid, seeing the young miss awake, thoughtfully went to find the doctor. Lu Ruyan, seeing her daughter staring at her without blinking, wondered what she was thinking. She gently stroked her daughter's cheek, recalling her daughter's soft, babyish voice in her mind. "Oh my God, she's so beautiful. This beauty could captivate me for a lifetime." She would be the legendary Rui, who'd experience poverty and wealth, prosperity and ruin, viciousness and everything except ugliness. No wonder she dominated half the online literature world. Zhu Yuji happily nuzzled in Lu Rian's arms. "Now, I have a mother too." Lu Rian, hearing her daughter's joyful thoughts, felt her own mood lift considerably. "Xiao Wu, you are my youngest daughter. Mother, your eldest brother, third brother, and fourth brother will protect you well. And your father." At this point, her thoughts darkened as she remembered Zhu Qiaosheng. How could that man ever be good to their daughter? Since entering the Prince Pingin's mansion, aside from Consort Jiang, who had been taken in before her, Zhu Qiaosheng hadn't taken any other concubines. Everyone said Prince Pingin doted on his wife obsessively. But if it weren't for Xiao Wu's birth, she wouldn't have known he had a so-called true love outside. All these years, she'd been blinded by this false affection. Lu Rian fell silent. Her mood grew heavy. Zhu Yuji, sensing her mother's emotional shift, figured she was thinking about her scumbag father. She reached out a chubby little hand, trying to draw her mother's attention. The clumsy yet heartwarming gesture made Lu Rian's heart melt. She smiled happily, the Jianan forgotten. She gently nuzzled her sweet daughter. Zhu Yuji's heart bloomed with joy. Although she felt a twinge of shame at acting like a baby, the feeling of being treasured like a mother's precious child was truly wonderful. Hearing her thoughts, Lu Rian felt her daughter was a bit starved for affection. She resolved to give her even more love. She kissed her daughter's chubby cheek. Zhu Yuji's face flushed crimson. Inwardly, she squealed, "Mother smells so good. Mother kissed me. Mother's lips are so soft. I love Mother." Seeing this, Lu Rian laughed heartily. "Are Xiao Wu shy? Xiao Wu is so cute." Mother and daughter played, happily nurturing their bond. Just then, the eldest son, Zhu Jima, entered. "Mother, I came to see you and Xiao Wu." "How is Xiao Wu?" He carefully examined his little sister. Her eyes were clear and bright, staring back at him with an adorable blankness. She seemed to be all right. He straightened up and addressed Lu Rian seriously. "Mother, there's something I don't understand. You've locked up that servant girl and forbidden anyone from seeing her, even father. And last night, I saw your people taking away the basin used for the blood test. You suspect something was wrong with the water, don't you?" Lu Rian remained silent, knowing her eldest son was always astute and had clearly noticed something amiss. But her daughter's rebirth was too bizarre to explain directly. She had only heard her daughter's thoughts. After a long silence, she looked up tentatively. "Amor, what do you think of your father?" Zhu Jima narrowed his eyes. "Mother, do you really want me to say?" "Mother, do you remember when the heir was being chosen? I said I had no desire to inherit the title. After that, the rumors started that second brother, born to Consort Jiang, would inherit the throne. I found that strange at the time. Consort Jiang is cautious and discreet. Even if I didn't want to be the heir, she wouldn't spread such rumors. Then father went to court and informed His Majesty that he had already decided the heir would only be born of his principal wife and requested that third brother be named the heir. At the time, many officials praised father for loving his wife dearly, saying Prince Pingin was a good husband and that grandfather could rest assured in supporting him. From then on, father's reputation as a loving husband spread far and wide. It was also from this time that father who had been holding a minor post since receiving his title, entered the Ministry of Revenue with grandfather's support. Since then, I've always felt that father wasn't as simple and honest as he appeared. I asked you several times how father treated you. You should remember, right? Lu Ruyan thought carefully, feeling an unspeakable heartache. So Mo had warned her so early on, but she had been blinded by love. Zhu Yuji, seeing her mother's emotions about to crumble, quickly reached out and cupped her face, preventing her from succumbing to negative feelings. "Mother, that scumbag isn't worth your tears," she babbled, trying to distract her. The wise Zhu Jima immediately noticed that his little sister was remarkably precocious. He leaned in with a smile. "This little Xiao Wu seems quite clever. She even knows how to comfort people." He reached out and poked Zhu Yuji's cheek affectionately. Looking at her elder brother's smiling eyes, Zhu Yuji thought, no wonder they say people with narrow eyes are monsters. He already suspected something was off about that scumbag. He truly is the smartest and also the earliest to die man in the entire book. Zhu Jima stiffened as a series of exclamations echoed in his mind. What the? Is that little sister talking? Zhu Jima, touching his newborn sister, realized with astonishment that he could hear her thoughts. Before he could react, his little sister's thoughts hit him like a bombshell. Originally, Mother Lu Ruyan was supposed to die soon. That scumbag killed mother-to-be with his true love. Big brother, after realizing something was wrong, immediately started investigating mother's death. But just then, the emperor ordered him to go to the enemy country for peace talks. On his way back, Big Brother was ambushed. After barely surviving, he returned completely changed, becoming the emperor's powerful eunuch. To climb to the peak of power, he killed loyal officials and good people, amassing countless unjust acts. In the end, he met a gruesome end, drawn and quartered. As Zhu Yuji recalled this, her small hand gripped Zhu Jima's finger tighter. "Brother," she thought, be a good person from now on. I'll be watching you. Lu Ruyan, seeing her eldest son's twitching lips, was reminded of her own reaction the first time she heard her daughter's thoughts. Figuring her son could also hear, she subtly shook her head at her son, thinking about his future fate of being drawn and quartered, her eyes filled with terror and worry. Zhu Jima silently suppressed his shock and quickly analyzed the situation. His newborn little sister seemed to be able to see the future. No wonder their mother had such a sudden change. It was likely related to Little Five's ability. He wondered if others could hear as well. Zhu Jima planned to test his little sister's unusual ability. He absolutely couldn't let anyone with ulterior motives find out. A loud announcement of "Your Highness has arrived" startled the mother and two children. This time, even if Zhu Jima couldn't hear his little sister's thoughts, he could tell from her expression that she was cursing. Zhu Qiaosheng hadn't even arrived yet, but his voice reached them first. That "My lady. I heard Little Five has woken up." Seeing that neither mother nor son responded, and their expressions were somewhat strange, he hurried over, putting on a fatherly air as he looked at Zhu Yuji. "I was worried sick about you last night, my dear. The thought of Little Five's near-death experience kept me up all night. Let me hold her." Pushing his eldest son aside, he reached out to take Zhu Yuji. Lu Ruyan, fearing her daughter's secret would be exposed, was about to speak up to stop him. But Zhu Qiaosheng had already scooped up the baby. Lu Ruyan's heart pounded in her chest. If she forcibly took the child back, it would only draw more attention to her. Suppressing her unease, she carefully observed Prince Pingin's reaction. Zhu Qiaosheng looked at Lu Ruyan, puzzled. "My lady, why are you so nervous?" He then reached out to feel the baby's forehead. Thankfully, the fever has subsided. Otherwise, I would have had to go to the palace to fetch the imperial physician. Looking down at his daughter in his arms, he was somewhat baffled by her seemingly resistant demeanor. Both Lu Ruyan and Zhu Jima silently breathed a sigh of relief. Good. It seemed he hadn't noticed Little Five's peculiarity. Zhu Yuji didn't want to be in her scumbag father's arms for even a second longer. Suddenly, a mischievous smile spread across her face. Zhu Qiaosheng's face was filled with disgust. What was going on? He thought he just saw a sly look on his newborn baby's face. Just as he was feeling disgusted, he suddenly felt a warm wetness in his arms. He looked down at the baby in disbelief. She wet herself. Lu Ruyan, fearing he would instinctively drop the child, quickly took her daughter back. "You little rascal. Why did you pee on your daddy?" To maintain his fatherly image, Zhu Xiaosheng forced a smile. It means little five likes her daddy. It's daddy's good fortune. Hearing her daughter's laughter in her mind. See? He even has to thank us. Lu Ruyan struggled to contain her own laughter as she settled her daughter back in her arms. The baby refused to even glance at Zhu Xiaosheng. He found it odd, but didn't say anything, laying the groundwork for his future graveyard. Oh, Ruyan, you should decide on little five's name. Lu Ruyan looked up, her gaze distant. Husband, have you forgotten? When I was first pregnant with little five, we discussed it. If it was a boy, he would be called Jizhou. If a girl, she would be called Yuji. Zhu Xiaosheng paused, then quickly laughed to cover up his carelessness. That I've been so busy lately that I actually forgot such an important matter. My memory is getting worse by the day. I deserve a beating. Yuji rolled her eyes at him, her mind racing with sarcastic thoughts. I think you're too busy having a dramatic love affair with Shen Yulan. And you say you have a bad memory? You remembered Shen Yulan's former fiancé for almost 10 years and keep bringing him up to create drama with her. Anyone would think you're some kind of prize. Hearing her daughter's detailed inner monologue, Lu Ruyan's anger intensified. A plan began to form in her mind. Masking the darkness in her eyes, she put on a look of tender affection. Husband, work is never ending. Your health is what matters most. Zhu Yuji thought Lu Ruyan was being fooled by Zhu Xiaosheng again. She kicked her legs anxiously. My dear, clear-headed mother, open your eyes. Scumbags like him only behave when they're hanging on a wall. Don't be fooled by him again. Zhu Xiaosheng took Lu Ruyan's hand, pouring on the charm. Ruyan, as long as it's for you, for our family, I don't mind the hard work. As long as you understand me, any hardship is worth it. Just then, a maid rushed in. Your Highness, it's terrible. There's a fire in the small house in the back of the manor. Lu Ruyan's brow furrowed. It was the room where the old woman and the unknown child, who were involved in the attempted baby swap, were being kept. How could there be a fire out of the blue? What about the old woman and the child? Before the maid could answer, Zhu Xiaosheng interrupted. If that old woman and child are dead, then they're dead. You've just given birth. You shouldn't worry about such things. I'll go and see what's happening. You just focus on resting and recovering. With that, he casually walked out. Lu Ruyan watched his retreating figure, a glint in her eyes. To be able to start a fire in the manor without alerting the guards. It could only be my own husband. Her son had been silent since Zhu Xiaosheng arrived. Zhu Jima saw everything clearly. He lowered his head and said, Mother, I will also take my leave. Lu Ruyan suddenly stopped him. If one day you wish to enter the court, your mother will help you. Through her daughter's reborn memories, Lu Ruyan had recognized her husband for the scumbag he was. She deactivated her love-struck brain and activated her career-driven fury. Fearing her eldest son would truly follow the path of power struggles and meet a tragic end as little five had foreseen, she stopped him just as he was about to leave. If one day you wish to enter the court, your mother will help you. She thought, my hands can get dirty, but I hope my children's hands can remain clean. Zhu Jima paused for a moment, then understood what his mother was worried about. He earnestly expressed his stance. Don't worry, mother consort. If one day I must stand in a high position, it will be because there are people who need to be killed, and I can't not kill them. As for now, I don't want to be a villain. I'll step back. Lu Ruyan silently vowed, when you need it, mother consort will give you everything. I won't let this path be difficult for you. When only the mother and daughter remained in the room, the head maid entered. She whispered, as the princess consort suspected, the water used last night for the blood test has indeed revealed a problem. Also, this servant just secretly went to check. That wet nurse was burned to death, but the baby is nowhere to be found. This news made Lu Ruyan's eyes redden, but also made her mind clearer. Since you're ruthless, don't blame me for being unkind. While changing Zhu Yuji's clothes, the head maid tentatively asked, Princess consort, do you need someone to investigate the whereabouts of that child? Lu Ruyan's face darkened for a moment. Meeting Zhu Yuji's clear gaze, the darkness instantly dissipated. She smiled gently. No need. After all, she's innocent, just like Xiao Wu. Why should a child suffer for the sins of her parents? Hearing her mother's words, Zhu Yuji's eyes filled with adoration, and she smiled brightly. She was completely oblivious to the firmness in Lu Ruyan's eyes as she looked up. Look at this perspective. What vicious female supporting character. I declare my mother is true, good, and beautiful. Aster is hearing her daughter praising her in her heart. Lu Rian felt a little guilty. Handing the baby to the headmaid, she said, "Take Xiao Wu down to sleep." While her daughter's gaze was elsewhere, she softly ordered, "Eliminate all traces. Leave no future trouble." The headmaid understood that her mistress didn't want the young miss to witness the darkness and gave an almost imperceptible nod. Elsewhere, Zhu Jima and his trusted guard went to the woodshed. The fire had already been brought under control. He calmly instructed his confidant, "Have someone watch all the exits of the manor. If anyone is seen leaving, be sure to follow them." The confidant whispered a reminder, "The princess consort may not want you involved in this." Zhu Jima retorted, "If the threat isn't eliminated, it may cause trouble in the future. I must be ruthless. Make sure not to tell Mother Consort about this matter." Having finished with business, he suddenly smiled at his confidant. "By the way, do I look like a great villain?" The confidant vehemently shook his head. "Young master, you are radiant and noble." "Not at all." Zhu Jima mused, "Is that so? It seems I have a talent for being a good person." "Mother Consort, I'm sorry I broke my promise." Elsewhere, in the imperial palace, the seventh prince, Ning Huaiming, fell into a dream again. In his dream, he came to a pitch-black place. A voice urged him forward. Every few steps, a vision suddenly appeared in the void. In the vision, a beautiful woman gently rocked a cradle, sighing softly to the baby inside. "Even if this child loves this night-luminescent pearl, he can't sleep while chewing on it. I shouldn't have let you see it when your elder sister gave us this night-luminescent pearl." Ning Huaiming, watching this scene, thought of the child who often appeared in his dreams, crying and desperately wanted to know who the child was. He walked towards the vision, wanting to see the child's face clearly. But just as he was about to approach the cradle, he found his feet were rooted to the spot, unable to move. A hurried footstep sounded from behind him. Everything around him began to change rapidly. The surroundings transformed into the grand hall from his previous life, where he held court as emperor. Before he could ponder this change, he turned around and found himself back in his adult form. Immediately, a dagger pierced his abdomen. Ning Huaiming stared at the woman who stabbed him. The woman wore mourning clothes, her face full of hatred. "Die for your ambition. You destroyed Nanyuan, killed my brother, and even dared to want me to marry you. Go to hell and pay for my brother's lives." Ning Huaiming didn't speak. He felt all of this was absurd. He didn't recognize this woman. However, the woman's next words made Ning Huaiming's eyes widen. "You thought you could control everything by being reborn? You schemed so much, but you didn't account for my appearance." Ning Huaiming couldn't hear the following words clearly because he was losing too much blood and his consciousness was fading. He gripped the dagger in his abdomen and pushed the woman away. She stumbled back several steps. He saw the dagger embedded in his abdomen. A look of disbelief flashed across his face. He recognized the dagger. It was his mother's relic. Ever since Ning Huaiming was reborn, besides frequently hearing a baby's cries, he was also plagued by nightmares. This time, he dreamt of his adult self being stabbed in the abdomen by a woman with a dagger, and it was his mother's relic. It was so bizarre that he suddenly woke up. He subconsciously touched his abdomen, which was perfectly fine. He breathed a sigh of relief. It was just a nightmare. He picked up the dagger from beside his pillow and took it out. The warmth from the hand holding hers sent a shiver through her. Was this really just a dream? Or had something really happened to her? She had never believed in ghosts or gods before, but everything that had happened since her rebirth was challenging her understanding. Just as she was struggling with these thoughts, her personal eunuch entered. "Your Highness, Master Minji has returned." His Majesty, having heard of the master's return from his travels, summoned him to the palace early. Ning Huaiming thought, "Perhaps meeting with Master Minji will give me some answers." He then had the eunuch help him change his clothes. Meanwhile, in another part of the palace, Zhu Yuji sneezed in her sleep. Then she woke up. Seeing this, Lu Ruyan thought her daughter was sick again and worriedly tucked her little blanket around her. "My sweet daughter, why did you sneeze? Did you catch a chill?" Zhu Yuji, meeting Lu Ruyan's worried face, came back to her senses. "That was close." She thought it was just a dream. "Mother, you have no idea what a terrible dream I just had. I dreamt that when I grew up, I killed someone. I just raised a knife and struck. I couldn't control myself. I don't know who I killed, but the scene, at first glance, seemed rather tragic." Lu Ruyan, hearing her daughter's newborn babble and seeing her gesticulating, found her utterly adorable. She couldn't help but laugh. Then, holding her daughter's hand. She soothed her. You had a nightmare, didn't you? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Dreams are not real. My daughter is so cute, worthy of being mine. At that moment, in the Bane Imperial Palace, Master Minji, leaning on his Zen staff, walked step by step towards the palace gate. He saw Ning Huaiming waiting there for him. Minji gave a Buddhist greeting, Amit Ba. Seventh Highness, are you waiting for this humble monk again? Is there trouble afoot? Ning Huaiming was delighted, as expected. I cannot hide anything from Master. He organized his words. Master, I keep dreaming of a young girl. In the dream, I do things that are quite baffling. Master, do you think this dream has any meaning? Minji replied, Your Highness, all things in this world are a cycle of cause and effect. A past life's deed bears fruit in this life. Dreams come true because destiny is predetermined. When Ning Huaiming heard Minji say, a past life's deed bears fruit in this life, his heart skipped a beat. He stared unblinkingly at Minji. Destiny is predetermined? Does that mean my future will be like the dream? I will personally hand a knife to a girl and let her kill me. Ning Huaiming looked away and bowed slightly. Thank you, Master, for your guidance. But in the next moment, an expression of ruthlessness, unbefitting his youthful face, appeared. He gripped the dagger at his waist. What destiny? It's just the cowardly words of those who passively await their fate. This time, I'll be the one wielding the knife. I finally have a chance to start over. Anyone who stands in my way must die. He recalled everything that happened in the dream. In the dream, I was grown up. Could that girl be the baby all grown up? I remember when the girl rebuked me in the dream. She said I destroyed Nanyuan. That means the girl is from Nanyue and is related to the Nanyue royal family. According to my memories of my past life, Nanyue and Bane are currently in negotiations regarding border issues. Perhaps I can use this opportunity to travel to Nanyue. 1 month passed quickly. Lu Ruiyan had completed her postpartum confinement, and the manor held a grand full moon banquet for Zhu Yuji. The event was magnificent. Congratulations, Your Highness, your Wang Fei. Little Miss Zhu is already a month old. Look at her eyes and nose. She's the spitting image of your Wang Fei. Zhu Yuji nestled in Lu Ruiyan's arms, feeling down. She found the constant pleasantries annoying. She felt like she had forgotten something important, but she couldn't quite recall it. Suddenly, a loud voice announced, Her Majesty, the Empress, has arrived. Everyone knelt. With the Empress's presence, the atmosphere of the full moon banquet became even more lively. Empress Lu Ruqiang came to Lu Ruiyan and said with a smile, Today is my niece's full moon banquet. Everyone, please don't be so formal. Zhu Yuji, looking up, was struck by her beauty. In the next second, her lost memory returned. Her heart lurched. Empress Lu Ruqiang. My aunt. I just remembered what I forgot. Oh my God, my aunt is going to die soon. At the full moon banquet, Zhu Yuji, upon seeing her aunt, the Empress, finally remembered the important matter she had forgotten. Empress Lu Ruqiang is the vicious white moonlight in the first installment of the tragic love trilogy. Lu Jia, an IP factory specializing in producing vicious female antagonists, is not only the male lead's childhood white moonlight, but also the leader of the palace's miscarriage squad. To consolidate the crown prince's position, she frequently administered abortifacients to the imperial concubines. And the foolish male lead of the first installment, Shun Hung, falls in love with the female lead, who is Lu Ruqiang's stand-in. After Shun Hung becomes emperor, he suspects Lu Ruqiang of harming his beloved. In the end, this vicious white moonlight, the Empress, dies in the flames of Shun Heng's pursuit. Recalling the plot, Zhu Yuji looked at the gentle Empress before her and thought, such a beautiful Empress. How could she be vicious? The author must be mistaken. Lu Ruqiang was amused by Zhu Yuji's ever-changing expressions. She reached out indulgently and poked her cheek. This little Xiao Wu even has a red mole on her forehead. The truth is, she looks like a child sent down from Buddha. A little Tongju. Zhu Yiji also liked her fragrant and beautiful aunt. Holding her hand, she acted cute and snuggled close. With this contact, the newborn's thoughts leaked out directly. My beautiful, stunning, elegant aunt, hello. The smile on Lu Ruqiang's face froze instantly. What's going on? Did I just hear Xiao Wu talk? That's impossible. How can a month-old baby talk? However, the warm voice echoed in her mind again. My beautiful aunt is actually going to die soon. That scumbag Shen Hung, his brain is fried. It's clearly him who insisted on finding Yin Yuer as my aunt's substitute. Now that Yin Yuer, the substitute, is about to die, he's fallen in love with you. Fine, You two can play your chasing your wife to the crematorium game. He's chasing his wife, but it's my aunt who's headed for the crematorium. What a nerve, rarer than gold. I actually encountered this. This is absolutely intolerable. I won't allow you to ruin such a good aunt of mine. The indignant Zhu Yuji was completely unaware of the immense shock her inner voice had given Lu Ruqiang. Lu Ruqiang stood frozen, as if struck by lightning. Xiao Wu said, Shun Heng wants to kill me. But if Xiao Wu is talking nonsense, how would she know about Yin Yuer? The Yin Yuer that Xiao Wu mentioned seems to be that noble consort living in the secluded palace. That woman looks a lot like me. Shen Heng once said that he found Yin Yuer to ease his longing for me. He claimed to have no feelings for her. Lu Ruqiang thought about how her husband, whom she had supported for so many years, wanted to kill her. She finally couldn't hold back her tears. Although she was sad, she felt more resentment towards her husband. Back then, I sacrificed so much for his position. But during the time I sacrificed for him, he had a secret affair with another woman. And now he wants to kill me for her. Lu Rian noticed something was wrong with Lu Ruqiang's expression and had a guess. Sister, you probably also heard our daughter's inner voice. She immediately reached out and nudged her. Sister, what's wrong? Lu Ruqiang recovered and forced a smile that it's been a while since we sisters have seen each other. I want to have a good chat with you tonight. Lu Rian immediately agreed that I would love that, sister. Lu Ruqiang turned and instructed her confidant, Hongzhu, have someone take my token and petition the emperor for a favor. Say that I want to stay at the Namping Prince's mansion tonight. At this moment, Lu Ruqiang, like Lu Rian before her, was ready to reclaim her true love and punish the scumbag. It was time to remind the emperor of the vows he had made. It didn't matter if a man had two hearts. Removing one would suffice. The difference in their approaches was quite obvious. What's going on? I even prepare my throat to stay the night. How come they're not giving me any chance to use it? Elsewhere, the Bane envoy, after a month of arduous travel, finally arrived at the Nanyue capital city. Just as they were about to enter the city, they stopped outside. After the procession stopped, someone came to Ning Huaiming's carriage. Your Highness, we are almost at the capital. Why don't we rest outside the city today? Ning Huaiming's attendant opened the carriage curtain and looked at the sky that you're not hurrying to enter the city. You want His Highness to stop and rest outside the city. What's the meaning of this? The envoy ignored the attendant and spoke to Ning Huaiming. Your Highness, you don't understand. This is a matter between two nations. If we rush into the city, it will make Nanyue think that Bane is afraid of them. After he finished speaking, the attendant lowered the curtain. The timidity on Ning Huaiming's face vanished. Prevent me from entering the city. They really went to great lengths. It's also impressive that they managed to endure for a month, waiting until we reached the capital to act against me. The attendant frowned. Your Highness, the color of your eyes. Ning Huaiming interrupted him. It's fine. It's best to keep a low profile. By the way, how are the things I asked you to prepare? The attendant respectfully replied, Rest assured, Your Highness, everything has been prepared. Ning Huaiming nodded. That's good. Tonight is destined to be a sleepless night. Then he closed his eyes and waited for his enemies to arrive. With the Empress's presence at the preemptive full moon banquet, the flatterers had already praised the full moon-aged Zhu Yuji to the heavens, comparing her to a goddess descending to the mortal realm. Halfway through the banquet, a weeping woman rushed in, begging the Empress to uphold justice for her. The lively atmosphere came to a sudden halt, replaced by gazes filled with gossip and schadenfreude. The Empress saw that the person below was the younger sister of the newly appointed Zhuang Yuan. She frowned and asked what happened. The Zhuang Yuan's sister hung her head, stammering and finding it difficult to speak. Zhu Yuji suddenly remembered her full moon banquet and her third brother's scandalous behavior. Hearing her daughter's thoughts, Lu Ruyan also became worried. The unaware Zhu Yuji quickly recalled the plot. Her third brother, because he became a persimmon early on, was kept by their scumbag father to be educated. As a result, their scumbag father deliberately spoiled him. The grown-up third brother indulged in drinking, gambling, and womanizing. But because of their scumbag father's cover-up, their mother never found out. And the reason third brother became like this, all started on the day of the full moon banquet. On that day, third brother acted frivolously and offended the newly appointed Zhuang Yuan's younger sister. As a result, mother and aunt Empress thought the young lady was making false accusations. Not only did they not get justice for her, they also scolded her in public. Unable to bear the humiliation, the The young lady went home and committed suicide that night. From then on, the Zhuang Yuan held a grudge against our family. In the end, he set third brother up to sleep with the emperor's concubine, and the emperor had third brother's hands and feet chopped off. Upon hearing this, Lu Rian gasped. Her son, as the Shitsi, should have been highly regarded. Now, due to her negligence, he had been ruined. She was so angry she stamped her feet and beat her chest. Her rage point soared. The Zhuang Yuan's sister's suppressed sobs brought her back to her senses. Although I have been wronged, I truly don't know how to speak of it. Thinking of her son's fate, Lu Rian knew she absolutely couldn't offend this young lady tonight. She immediately ordered the maidservant beside her to invite her third son over. Then she went down and personally helped the Zhuang Yuan's sister up. I understand your grievance, Mississippi. Would you be willing to accompany the Empress and me to the adjacent hall to talk? The Zhuang Yuan's sister carefully nodded in agreement. In the adjacent side hall, third brother came running excitedly. Mother, you called for me? Before he could get close, Lu Ruyan splashed tea in his face, sobering him up considerably. At such a young age, you're already behaving so dissolutely. Look at what you've done. Only then did he see the young lady behind his mother. He said dismissively, even feeling wronged, Mother, only pulled her clothes a little. Is it really that serious? Seeing this, Zhu Yuji cheered inwardly. Asterisk, of course it's serious. Mother, quickly arrest her and hang her up to beat her. If you don't beat her now, you'll only be able to visit her grave later. Asterisk, seeing her son still unrepentant, Lu Rian directly ordered the maidservant to kick the back of his knees, forcing him to kneel before the Zhuang Yuan sister. Then, she turned to the Zhuang Yuan sister and apologized. I apologize for my failure to discipline him properly, causing you such grievance. Today, no matter how you wish to punish him, it is justified. The Zhuang Yuan's sister hadn't expected the Wang Fei to apologize to her and was quite flattered. Third brother roared indignantly. Mother, how can you treat me like this? I am the Shitsi of the prince's mansion, born of the empress. A cold glint flashed in the empress's eyes. That's so? Then I wonder if this empress can discipline you. Someone, this Shitsi is disrespectful to his elders. Drag him down and give him 20 heavy strokes. Zhu Yuji cheered inwardly. Asterisk, well done. If you don't beat him now, you'll regret it later. And Empress and Mother are amazing. Asterisk. Seeing third brother actually being dragged down by the guards for a beating, and with both the Empress and the Wang Fei on her side, the Zhuang Yuan's sister finally felt a sense of relief. Lu Rian added, tomorrow, I will personally bring this rascal to your door to apologize. Would this be acceptable? The Zhuang Yuan's sister bowed deeply. I didn't expect the Empress and the Wang Fei to be so understanding and uphold justice for me. Since the Shitsi has admitted his mistake, I will not pursue the matter further. The matter with the Zhuang Yuan's family was settled, but the matter with her third son wasn't over. Lu Rian was determined to rectify the situation. She ordered the maidservant to take Zhu Yuji back to rest. Zhu Yuji struggled, unwilling to leave. She still wanted to stay and watch the drama unfold. However, no one was willing to let her stay. As soon as Zhu Yuji was gone, Lu Rian displayed the authority of the headmistress. She ordered, investigate everyone around the Shitsi. Anyone who has tempted the Shitsi to indulge in pleasure, once found, will be dealt with severely. Lu Rian had learned from her daughter's rebirth that her son had been deliberately spoiled and was determined to clean up the people around him. As the head maidservant led Zhu Yuji back to her room, passing through the garden, Zhu Yuji looked at the bright full moon and sighed. In the blink of an eye, it's been a while since I transmigrated into this tragic novel. I wonder if I can ever go back. Although I finally get to be a child with a mother, it's hard not to miss my phone and computer from the modern world. If only I hadn't clicked on this novel out of curiosity, just because I shared the same name as the third female lead. If only I hadn't acted like a keyboard warrior and criticized this book as being full of crazy people. If only I hadn't been told if you can do better, you do it by the readers. I wouldn't have actually ended up here, in this tragic novel, as a helpless baby. As she lamented, a figure in black jumped out from behind the rockery. With lightning speed, he chopped the maidservant's neck and swiftly caught the falling Zhu Yuji. That was close. I almost came for nothing and lost the hostage. Without another word, he used his qinggong to flee the scene. The second-class maidservant could only watch helplessly as her little mistress was kidnapped. After reacting, she cried out loudly, "Help! There's an assassin!" Zhu Yuji calmly accepted the fact that she had been kidnapped, but tears still welled up. Asterisk, goodbye, mother. Tonight, I embark on a long voyage. Goodbye to my dark history. Goodbye to this world full of crazy events. I'm going on an adventure. Asterisk. Meanwhile, at and outside the city, a group of figures in black stealthily entered Ning Huaiming's room. They approached the bed and saw the bulging blankets. They stabbed down without hesitation, but the feeling wasn't right. When they pulled the sword out, it brought out a lot of goose feathers. Tricked, they lifted the blanket. Sure enough, there were only 2 pillows under the blanket. The men in black were furious. They'd been fooled. Ning Huaiming wasn't in the room at all. He must have gone into the city. Chase him. If you see any child of similar age, it's better to kill the wrong one than to let him go. The man in black who snatched Zhu Yuji originally wanted to take her out of the city, but he didn't expect the city gates to be sealed so quickly. They even dispatched the city guard. It seems he could only hide for now and try to blend in and escape tomorrow morning. While he hesitated, the city guard quickly approached his hiding place in the dark alley. Looking at the baby in his arms, the man in black gritted his teeth and made a decision. He couldn't move with a baby. He had to hide her first, and after the city guard left, he would come back and take her away. Zhu Yuji desperately pawed at the man's hand, mentally complaining, "You kidnapped me, fine, but can you not cover my face? I'm suffocating. Do people here have some kind of face-covering fetish?" After making his plan, the man in black removed his hand from Zhu Yuji's mouth. As Zhu Yuji instinctively tried to cry out, he quickly stuffed something in her mouth to prevent her cries from revealing their location. Zhu Yuji, having just taken a breath, was gagged again. She rolled her eyes in exasperation. The man in black, unconcerned with her discomfort, placed her on the ground, grabbed a nearby empty basket, and covered her with it. He quickly left the alley, believing his plan was foolproof. Little did he know that as soon as he left, a child dressed as a beggar entered the alley. It was Ning Huaiming, disguised to escape his pursuers. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. Ning Huaiming's disguise had fooled the assassins, but he hadn't anticipated the citywide curfew, which disrupted his plans. Unfamiliar with the city's layout, he could only hide in this alley for a while. He walked toward the baskets. Just as he was about to lift one, he heard the basket in front of him speak, "Tui, Tui, Tui. Let me teach you a lesson today about being one-upped. A tiny walnut can gag me? If it weren't for Ning Huaiming's memories from a past life and calm demeanor, I would have screamed and given myself away." Zhu Yuji, inside the basket, was completely unaware of this. She tried to push the basket off, but her efforts were futile. Frustrated, she gave up. Darn these short little arms. If I can't reveal myself, I'll just have to scream. She took a deep breath, preparing to cry out and attract her family's attention. The next second, the basket was suddenly lifted. A baby and a child stared at each other in silence. Ning Huaiming, staring at Zhu Yuji, was filled with questions. Asterisk, why is there a baby under a basket? How can such a small baby talk? Asterisk, Zhu Yuji realized her savior was a child, but a savior nonetheless. Suddenly, chaotic footsteps approached from the corner. Ning Huaiming's heart sank. The killers must be back. He no longer had time to ponder the talking baby. He immediately picked up Zhu Yuji and pulled the basket over them. Zhu Yuji was dumbfounded. So, he's not here to rescue me, but to take my hiding spot? The footsteps stopped in front of the basket where they were hiding. Ning Huaiming tensed, afraid the baby would cry out and expose them. He covered Zhu Yuji's mouth. Then, he clearly heard someone's thoughts. Asterisk, hey, buddy, this is a bit presumptuous. You're not rescuing me. You're squatting in here with me and covering my mouth. So annoying. Why is it always the mouth? Asterisk, Ning Huaiming froze in the darkness. Asterisk, I'm covering this child's mouth. So how can she still talk? And she's too young to talk anyway. Asterisk, after a moment, he realized he was hearing the baby's thoughts. But how can I hear her thoughts? He didn't have time to dwell on it. The men pursuing him spoke outside. Boss, I saw him run this way with my own eyes. How could we lose him? Useless. You can't even handle a child. Let's go. Keep searching. If he escapes, it'll be a disaster. Hearing the footsteps receding, Ning Huaiming waited a moment before lifting the basket and putting Zhu Yuji down. He looked her over. Zhu Yuji, afraid he would leave her, quickly grabbed the corner of his robe, put on a charming smile, and pleaded mentally. Asterisk, look, we shared a basket. Why don't you help me out? I was kidnapped. If you take me home, you'll be like a brother to my parents. Asterisk, Ning Huaiming's expression was unreadable. He thought of the child with whom he had some connection. A newborn, dressed in clothes that, like in his dream, suggested wealth and status. Was it really just a coincidence? He turned and crouched down. Ning Huaiming appeared to be talking to himself, but was actually craftily probing. Having heard Zhu Yuji's inner voice, he thought. It seems we share a similar fate, both abandoned by our families. But you're too small. How can I possibly raise you? Zhu Yuji, unaware that she'd given herself away, was deeply moved. I have a night glowing pearl bigger than my fist. Gritting my teeth, I could give it to you, Huaiming. Ning Huaiming felt even more strongly that she resembled the child in his dreams, who seemed to adore night-glowing pearls. Could the child he was searching for actually be right in front of him? Could it really be this coincidental? And what was this strange new ability to hear other people's thoughts? Perhaps he could use this newfound ability to find the answers to his long-standing questions. A harmless smile graced his face, but his voice grew deeper. I don't know where your home is. Why don't I leave you at the Huya gate? Upon hearing this, Zhu Yuji's tears instantly dried up. Her shattered heart was instantly mended. She wanted to kowtow to this kind young man. You're truly a soft-hearted god. Thank you, my living bodhisattva. Ning Huaiming had just bent down to pick her up when the arrogant voice of a man in black rang out from behind. You brat, I knew I'd find you here. Both of them turned to look. Zhu Yuji clung tightly to Ning Huaiming, frantically cursing them in her mind. They actually came back? Their seemingly normal intelligence is kind of scary. While fleeing pursuers, Ning Huaiming encountered Zhu Yuji, who had been kidnapped. He discovered he could hear the infant's thoughts. This infant also coincided with the child from his recurring dreams. His primary purpose in coming here was to find this child from his dreams. Intending to keep the child close to hear her thoughts and determine if she was the one, he was about to leave with her when the pursuing men in black caught up. This fight was unavoidable. He looked at Zhu Yuji and whispered, "Can you hold your breath? Nod if you understand. If you don't understand, you'll just have to pass out later." Zhu Yuji, without any hesitation, nodded, completely forgetting that a normal child at this age wouldn't understand speech. In her mind, she frantically responded, "Yes, yes, yes. Holding my breath is nothing. I'm a pro at playing dead. I dodged everything at the beginning by playing dead. You can check my record." Ning Huaiming bounced Zhu Yuji in his arms and chuckled, "Oh, you really do understand. Good. Hold your breath when I count to 3. Zhu Yuji suddenly realized her mistake and quickly covered her mouth. "Oops, I slipped up. Why are you trying to trick me?" Huaiming. Ning Huaiming, now certain that this child was different, tossed her into the air. Then he yelled 3. With his other hand, he threw out several smoke bombs from his robes. White smoke instantly filled the entire alley. Taking advantage of the cover, he caught Zhu Yuji and smoothly slipped out of the encirclement. Before losing consciousness, Zhu Yuji mentally cursed Ning Huaiming. Heartless. True heartlessness isn't about shouting and screaming. I've never met someone so unpredictable in my life. Ning Huaiming's smoke bombs not only bought him time to escape, but also attracted the city guard soldiers. This allowed him to shake off the men in black. He found a safe hiding place and didn't know how much time passed. Zhu Yuji slowly woke up. So cold. I had a nightmare that I was kidnapped. She opened her eyes to a messy, empty room. She was lying on the young man who had tricked her. So it wasn't a dream, but seeing the pursued young man with his eyes closed, pale face, and lifeless appearance. A shrill alarm went off in her mind. He's dead. She flailed her limbs, trying to get away from the body, but being barely a month old, she was powerless. She burst into tears, jolted by her movements. Ning Huaiming painfully woke up and weakly uttered, "Don't move." Zhu Yuji froze, looking back at him. "You're not dead. Why didn't you say anything? You almost scared me to death. Wait, your shoulder is bleeding. What do we do? You can't die." Ning Huaiming had been hit by a poison dart while escaping. The poison numbed his senses and limbs. Fortunately, he had an antidote. He struggled to say, "Medicine, medicine." Zhu Yuji, not understanding but still panicked, replied, "Check it now." Ning Huaiming was speechless, feeling his ability to communicate slipping away. In this situation, he could only place all his hope on this infant. Sighing, he weakly gestured toward his chest. Zhu Yuji smacked her forehead. "Why didn't you say so earlier? I thought you were speaking gibberish." She then began rummaging inside Ning Huaiming's clothes and pulled out a white porcelain bottle. Zhu Yuji held the bottle up to Ning Huaiming. Ning Huaiming, unable to speak, could no longer say how many pills he needed. He could only manage a slight nod. With his one good hand, he pulled out the cork. Then, he poured all 5 pills from the bottle into his hand. And then he stuffed the entire handful of pills, along with his hand, into Ning Huaiming's mouth. Ning Huaiming, speechless, could only watch. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, lifetimes, someone had force-fed a medicine, hand and all. Zhu Yuji explained, my hands are small. I was afraid of dropping any. Be understanding. As long as you live, you can swallow anything, even a fist or an arrow. Ning Huaiming was practically speechless with distress. Each pill is worth a fortune. This isn't taking medicine, it's swallowing gold. Not long after administering the medicine, Ning Huaiming's poison subsided. After tidying himself up, he fell asleep, holding the drowsy Zhu Yuji. Looking at Zhu Yuji curled up on his chest, his eyes flickered. The incessant inner voice he'd heard while holding Zhu Yuji kept flashing through his mind. It didn't seem to match. This girl was mischievous and quirky. The woman in his dream, who plunged a dagger into his chest, was full of resentment. Their personalities were completely different. How could they be the same person? Unconsciously, his hand reached out and poked her plump cheek. His first thought was that it felt quite soft. Zhu Yuji woke up. She stared at him with a speechless expression. Asterisk, you poked me. What for? Asterisk, since Ning Huaiming had been reborn, he was still essentially a young boy. Looking at the infant sleeping on his chest, so chubby and adorable, his hand unconsciously reached out and poked Zhu Yuji's cheek. His first reaction was that it felt quite soft. Zhu Yuji opened her eyes and looked up at him. You poked me. What for? Under Zhu Yuji's shocked and accusing gaze, Ning Huaiming quickly withdrew his hand and looked away, thinking, asterisk, it really wasn't a hallucination. Such a mystical thing actually exists in this world. Asterisk. Asterisk, I can actually hear someone's thoughts by touching them. This child is full of strangeness. Asterisk, he reasoned that it was better to be safe than sorry. But this child indirectly saved my life. His wavering heart softened. Asterisk, forget it. I'll let her fend for herself here. Consider it my act of kindness. Asterisk, with that decided, he slowly got up. Zhu Yuji was shocked. Brother, you're all right now? Then take me with you. She even reached out her hands, asking to be held. However, Ning Huaiming left her where she was and walked towards the door. Zhu Yuji felt utterly abandoned. Asterisk, no, brother, big brother, godfather, you're just leaving? This makes me feel like I deserve to die for knowing you. If you're not going to save me, can you at least leave me somewhere safe? Asterisk. Asterisk, you could even put me on a main street, somewhere visible. I'm not picky. Asterisk, watching Ning Huaiming walk out the door, Zhu Yuji's heart shattered and she wailed, hoping to attract someone's attention. Then she saw Ning Huaiming return with a complicated look on his face. Why are you crying? Zhu Yuji paused. Didn't you leave? Ning Huaiming chuckled and sighed. He was about to say something when a commotion erupted outside. A large group of officers rushed in. Without a word, Ning Huaiming scooped up Zhu Yuji, his grip tightening. He assumed these officers were looking for him, his eyes filled with wariness. Zhu Yuji looked at the officers, then at Ning Huaiming, suddenly understanding and overwhelmed with gratitude. Asterisk, brother, I misjudged you. You were going to get help. I'm so blind. I just cursed your entire family line. Asterisk, she snuggled against him affectionately. Ning Huaiming remained silent. If I said what I was really thinking, you'd understand differently. He thought, just keep misunderstanding. As Zhu Yuji nuzzled him, he heard a familiar voice. Little sister, it really is you. Zhu Jima rushed in. Upon seeing her older brother, all of Zhu Yuji's bravado crumbled. As Zhu Jima reached for her, Ning Huaiming stepped back. This evasive movement made Zhu Jima's expression darken. Who are you? Why is my little sister with you? Zhu Yuji, fearing a misunderstanding, quickly explained to Ning Huaiming, brother, that's really my older brother. Give me back to him. Don't misunderstand. After hearing her thoughts, Ning Huaiming proactively handed her over to, I'm Ning Huaiming. I run a bodyguard business. I apologize. Someone tried to take her earlier, so I thought you had ill intentions as well. Having heard his little sister's thoughts, Zhu Jima narrowed his eyes, regarding Ning Huaiming with a newfound respect. After all, this young boy had managed to rescue his little sister from vicious kidnappers. He must be extraordinary. Young Master Ning, you saved my little sister. Such a great kindness is hard to repay. But if you run a bodyguard business, why are you alone in such a state? Ning Huaiming hadn't expected Zhu Jima to be so perceptive. He feigned difficulty speaking, stammering, my stepmother, she wants to seize control of the family business. So I have to hide. Zhu Yuji felt a surge of sympathy. Asterisk, poor brother. This is like a classical version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Asterisk. When Lu Rian arrived after receiving the news, she saw Zhu Yuji in Zhu Jima's arms. Without a word, she took the child from her eldest son, weeping dramatically that why little Wu? Thank goodness you're all right. Who took you? She was completely oblivious to the fact that since her arrival, Ning Huaiming's gaze hadn't left her. Lu Rian's face overlapped with the beautiful woman from his dream. Ning Huaiming's gaze then fell back on Zhu Yuji. Asterisk, so the dream was real. So this is what it meant. This child is the woman who killed me in my dream. Asterisk. The sword hanging over my heart finally dropped. What makes me regretful is that, because of that ridiculous compassion, I protected my would-be assassin. Father falling in a mother's arms is a premonition. I can no longer hold back my tears, pouring out my grievances to mother in my heart. I've returned from my wandering thanks to this young man. He's practically my savior. Lu Rian listened to her daughter's cries, her heart gradually calming down. Looking at Ning Huaiming, she said, "This young gentleman saved my daughter. We are eternally grateful. If you don't mind, young master, you can stay with us for a while." Because of Lu Rian's appearance, which overlapped with the image in his dream, Ning Huaiming was certain that the baby before him was the one who would kill him in the future. Already regretting his ridiculous compassion, he now saw a way to play along. Zhu Yuji, unaware that the young man was secretly regretting not killing her earlier, simply thought he was overwhelmed by his sudden good fortune. Blinking her big eyes, she urged, "Don't hesitate, just agree." Ning Huaiming's gaze fell on Zhu Yuji, who was smiling at him. Then, smiling, he nodded in agreement. "All right," he said, "I'll go back to the residence with you." His hands clenched tightly, thinking this time, I won't be soft-hearted. Lu Rian brought Zhu Yuji back to the residence and unexpectedly saw someone who had been missing for a long time, Zhu Qiaosheng. She had originally intended to downplay the kidnapping of her youngest daughter. The rest of her words, upon seeing Zhu Yuji in Lu Rian's arms, were quickly replaced as Zhu Qiaosheng switched into doting father mode that I rushed back as soon as I heard about Xiao Wu's incident. Thankfully, Xiao Wu is all right. Have those audacious kidnappers been caught? If they have, I'll make sure they wish they were dead. Almost the instant Zhu Qiaosheng finished speaking, Zhu Yuji retorted in her mind, "You old faker, still pretending." Then, with tears welling up in her eyes, she complained to Lu Rian, "Mother, the real culprit behind my kidnapping is him. Based on my experience watching Detective Conan, there's only one truth. He tried to get rid of me before, but failed, so he planned to try again. He just didn't expect you to come back so soon. It seems the old man hasn't received news from the kidnappers yet. Just be glad I can't talk, old man, or I'd definitely trick you into thinking the kidnappers were caught, and you wouldn't be able to sleep at night." Lu Rian had already awakened to her husband's infidelity and his plot against their daughter after hearing her inner thoughts the first time. Now, all that remained was furious vengeance. She feigned distress. Zhu Yuji, they let the kidnappers get away, but it seems they left behind some evidence before escaping. Zhu Qiaosheng hastily interrupted before Lu Rian could finish. What evidence? Zhu Yuji chuckled inwardly. The old man is panicking. He's panicking. Ning Huaiming, standing behind Lu Rian, clearly saw everyone's expressions. He raised an eyebrow with interest. Prince Amping seems quite reluctant to have his daughter back. And Princess Amping, although aware of this, is still forcing herself to play the part of a loving wife with Prince Amping, a father with ulterior motives, a mother holding back her anger, a brother with his own schemes, and a daughter who appears unintelligent but is actually keenly aware of the situation. This Prince Amping's residence is more interesting than I imagined. He unconsciously revealed a villainous smile. Zhu Yuji turned around sharply to look at him. "Young man, why are you suddenly smiling so evilly?" Ning Huaiming, hearing this, quickly composed himself and feigned innocence. Their small interaction went unnoticed by the adults. After keeping Zhu Qiaosheng in suspense, Lu Rian responded with a smile. "The evidence isn't important. But husband, look, Xiao Wu is looking at you. It seems she missed you very much while you were away." Zhu Qiaosheng, his mind preoccupied with the evidence, blindly said, "My dear, how can it not be important? Give me the evidence, I must." Zhu Yuji, understanding her mother's tactics, played along perfectly, interrupting Zhu Qiaosheng's questioning with fake cries. Lu Rian immediately began comforting her. "Husband, let's not ask now. Xiao Wu is frightened." She successfully sidelined Zhu Qiaosheng. Unable to insert himself into their mother-daughter bonding, Zhu Qiaosheng turned his attention to Ning Huaiming. "My dear, you're right. I wasn't thinking. And this is Lu Rian, who had been too busy comforting her child to pay attention to Zhu Qiaosheng, suddenly found herself freed that he saved Xiao Wu. If it weren't for this young gentleman, Xiao Wu wouldn't have returned so quickly. Ning Huaiming politely bowed. Looking at Ning Huaiming's bright smile, Zhu Qiaosheng felt like vomiting blood. It was this brat who ruined his plans. Yet, he still had to force a grateful smile, thought, it's all thanks to the young gentleman. Since you are my daughter's savior, please stay at the residence. Any requests you have, just tell me. Ning Huaiming, ignoring the hidden resentment in Prince Onping's eyes, maintained his bright smile. Thank you, Your Highness. After returning to his study, Zhu Qiaosheng smashed in inkstone in frustration. With his plan to get rid of his daughter foiled, he had to come up with a new strategy. For the past month, he had been plotting in secret. He had planned to have someone take Xiao Wu away, and while Lu Ruyan was grieving, he would bring his illegitimate child back, pretending to have adopted them, and use this to console Lu Ruyan. I can't believe such a perfect plan was ruined by a little brat. And Lu Ruyan said that the person who kidnapped Xiao Wu left evidence. If it's traced back to me and the Empress holds me accountable, then I'm in trouble. At this point, Zhu Qiaosheng decided to go for broke. Rather than sit and wait for death, it's better to strike first. If Princess Consort Onping dies of illness, then all the problems will be solved. Ning Wang, in order to secure a position for his illegitimate child, is planning to risk killing his own princess consort, Lu Ruyan. And Ning Huaiming, under the guise of Zhu Yuji's savior, stayed at the residence. After settling his people, he used a flying pigeon to send a message. Originally, the envoy refused to cooperate, using the prince's disappearance as an excuse. Nanyue is currently searching for the prince on a large scale. Seeing this news, Ning Huaiming revealed an I knew it expression. Bane wanted to use his death as a pretext to attack Nanyue. So after he arrived in Nanyue with the Bane envoy, those people made their move on him, preventing him from entering the Nanyue capital. In a previous life, Bane used the death of the envoy as an excuse to attack Nanyue. This time, they seem to think that compared to the death of an envoy, the death of a prince would more easily incite public outrage and sabotage peace talks. Now that he has infiltrated the Nanyue capital in advance, Bane can only use his disappearance to delay their entry. To avoid suspicion, Nanyue will also search for him with great fanfare. They want to see the peace talks collapse, but I won't let them succeed. At this moment, a maidservant called him outside his room. Young Master Ning, the princess consort requests your presence. Ning Huaiming went out and followed the maidservant to Lu Ruyan's quarters. Young Master Ning, please wait a moment. The princess consort will be out shortly. Ning Huaiming nodded. I wonder what the princess consort wishes to see me about. He inadvertently caught sight of Zhu Yuji climbing, seemingly searching for something. Just as Zhu Yuji was about to slip and fall, Ning Huaiming's body reacted faster than his mind, flashing over to catch her. Zhu Yuji looked up and saw Ning Huaiming grinning. Hey there, mister. You're here. My mother is inside picking out clothes for you. Wait a minute, okay. Then, desperately suppressing the reluctance in her heart, she presented a large night pearl to Ning Huaiming with a pained expression. Here, take this. As she pushed it towards him, she deliberately turned her face away, not wanting Ning Huaiming to see the heavy reluctance in her eyes. Ning Huaiming picked up the night pearl and asked for me. Zhu Yuji nodded solemnly. Ning Huaiming's eyes flickered. He remembered that in his dream, this child loved this night pearl, even sleeping with it. Now, she was just giving it to him. Would she really kill me? Looking at the night pearl and the adorable child before him, Ning Huaiming's heart softened a little. He had never seen this child grow up, so how could he be sure that she would be the one to kill him in the future? Perhaps she and the woman who killed him were two different people. It was possible. As soon as this thought arose, his heart skipped a beat. He shook his head, dispelling the softening in his heart. I've only met her twice. Why am I softening each time? Could there really be some ridiculous fate between us? If I continue to soften like this, will I fall in love with Zhu Yuji? Thinking of that dream, Ning Huaiming now had only one thought. Since Zhu Yuji killing him was a predetermined fate, then him killing Zhu Yuji would be changing fate. He loosened his hold on Zhu Yuji. Zhu Yuji let out a startled cry as she fell. Fortunately, it wasn't too high, and she didn't get seriously hurt. She didn't detect Ning Huaiming's murderous intent, only thinking that he was too weak to hold her, and had panicked. Just as the two, one big and one small, were silent, Zhu Qiaosheng entered. Ning Huaiming respectfully greeted him. Although Zhu Qiaosheng tried to appear calm and collected, the sores at the corner of his mouth betrayed him. He had been extremely anxious these past few days. He said indifferently, "Young master, you are my daughter's savior. There's no need to be so formal." After noticing that Lu Ruyan wasn't in the room, his eyes filled with delight. This was simply heaven sent. He walked straight to Zhu Yuji. "Xiao Wu, have you missed Daddy? Look what Daddy brought you." He then pulled out a golden lock from his pocket and dangled it in front of Zhu Yuji. "Xiao Wu, do you like it? Come, Daddy will put it on you." Zhu Yuji, looking at the golden lock about to be placed on her, gave a strange smile. She suddenly swung her fist, knocking the lock away. Then, with her toothless mouth, she bit Zhu Qiaosheng's hand, cursing him furiously in her mind. "You damned old fool. Don't think I don't know this golden lock is poisoned. You want to trigger my latent poison, right? You want to use one lousy lock to buy both my and my mother's lives, right? Naive scumbag. You actually try to pull this off in front of me, someone with God's perspective." Although Zhu Qiaosheng didn't feel any pain, he still flung his arm away in disgust, not caring if his daughter got hurt. At the critical moment, it was Ning Huaiming who caught the falling Zhu Yuji, preventing her from being injured. Zhu Qiaosheng took 2 steps back in disgust, looking at Zhu Yuji as if she were a monster. This child could always evade his schemes. It was truly uncanny. He suddenly recalled the fortune teller's words. "The daughter you just had, Princess Consort, has quite a destiny. You must be very careful." As he compared recent events, Zhu Qiaosheng grew increasingly convinced that this daughter was born to defy him. The thought intensified the murderous intent in his eyes. He felt an even more urgent need to kill both mother and daughter. Ning Huaiming pretended not to notice the dark thoughts swirling within the father and daughter, but inwardly he was shocked. How could Zhu Yuji know about the golden lock incident? And what did she mean by God's perspective? Could she predict the future? If so, would she also foresee my plans to kill her? This despicable father, Zhu Qiaosheng, wanted to take advantage of Lu Ruyan's absence to molest his daughter again. But once again he failed. Despite being so young and unable to speak, she managed to avoid danger every time. It made him feel uneasy, like something was amiss. Ning Huaiming, having witnessed the whole thing, couldn't help but wonder if Zhu Yuji could truly see the future. The urgency to deal with Zhu Yuji intensified within him. While the two were locked in a silent standoff, Lu Ruyan emerged from the inner room. Zhu Qiaosheng, without a word, immediately turned and left. Seeing this, Lu Ruyan's eyes darkened. She could guess that her husband had been harming their daughter again behind her back. It seemed she needed to accelerate her own plans. Masking her emotions, she smiled and approached Ning Huaiming. "Young Master Ning, I've already instructed someone to rush your new clothes. These are a few of my Shao Ci's clothes. You, and here about the same size. Since he's not home, I brought you a few to wear until your new ones arrive." Ning Huaiming curtly interrupted Lu Ruyan's kindness in "Oh need, thank you, Princess Consort." He returned the night pearl Zhu Yuji had given him. Claiming such gifts were inappropriate for his status, he handed Zhu Yuji back to Lu Ruyan and excused himself. He felt that since his and Zhu Yuji's fates were likely intertwined for the worse, such kindnesses were merely a burden. Lu Ruyan was completely puzzled. She couldn't understand how the courteous and reasonable child from a moment ago could suddenly become so distant. She looked at Zhu Yuji. "What's wrong?" Zhu Yuji also looked confused, unsure of the reason. Could it be that the pearl wasn't big enough? As Ning Huaiming left the Yinyu pavilion, he was stopped on his way back by Zhu Yuji's elder brother, Zhu Zhima, 7th Prince. All of Nanyue is searching for the 7th Prince of Bane. Are you sure you want to remain hidden within the Omping Prince's mansion? The outside world is frantic in their search for you. Ning Huaiming, upon being discovered, showed no sign of panic. Instead, he calmly countered, "You recognized me long ago. Why didn't you expose me?" Zhu Zhima smiled faintly. "Your Highness, save my sister. It is only right and proper for the Omping Prince's mansion to repay this kindness." Ning Huaiming responded impassively, "You're too kind, young Master Zhu. Rest assured, I will leave when the time is right." Zhu Zhima bowed to Ning Huaiming. Both were intelligent men, understanding what actions would benefit each other most. Back in his room, Ning Huaiming thought about the circumstances surrounding his and Zhu Yuji's encounters, his killing intent evident in his eyes. The next morning, he took out his hidden poison, intending to test whether Zhu Yuji truly possessed the ability to foresee the future. The drug was ostensibly a tonic. Even if ground up and examined, it wouldn't reveal any toxins. However, all the ingredients were mutually antagonistic. A tonic could also become a silent killer. If Zhu Yuji could truly predict the future, she would detect the poison he'd administered. In that case, ordinary methods wouldn't work against her. If she couldn't, that would be the best outcome. After his preparations, he asked the serving maid about the princess consort's whereabouts. Learning that she had gone to the palace, he knew this was an opportunity not to be missed. Feigning ignorance, he went to the Yinyu pavilion. The maid attending Zhu Yuji hurried forward upon seeing him. "Young Master Ning, are you looking for the princess consort? She has gone out." Ning Huaiming feigned a smile. "Oh, I forgot. I'll come back when she returns." Zhu Yuji, playing on the bed, saw Ning Huaiming and her face lit up with joy. She excitedly babbled, trying to get his attention. "Big brother." Seeing Zhu Yuji's delight, the maid invited Ning Huaiming in. He smiled gently. "I wouldn't want to impose." Sitting beside Zhu Yuji, his gaze fell upon the milk jug on the table. While Zhu Yuji asked him to open a box in front of her, his hand brushed past the milk jug, adding the poison disguised as a tonic. The substance was colorless and odorless, and wouldn't cause immediate death after consumption. Initially, there would be no noticeable effects, and the victim would appear full of energy. Only months later, on a seemingly ordinary day, they would never wake up. Having done this, he picked up a box. "What are you giving me this time?" Zhu Yuji seemed to be making a grand gesture, her eyes welling up as if parting with a treasured possession. "I thought about it. Maybe you didn't like the pearl last time because it wasn't big enough. This time, I'm giving you all my worldly possessions. Please accept them. From now on, we're brother and sister, like real siblings. Don't hesitate to accept my kindness." "Oh, right, give me the milk jug." Ning Huaiming hesitated. He considered this the most benevolent poison, causing no perceptible pain, yet achieving his desired outcome. He picked up the jug and offered it to Zhu Yuji, but she didn't take it. Her eyes shone brightly as she looked at him. Just as he began to feel uneasy and apprehensive, he watched in disbelief as Zhu Yuji grabbed his hand and pushed the milk jug toward his mouth. "Big brother, you accepted my gifts. From now on, we're brother and sister, just like real siblings. A sworn oath is essential. Today, we'll seal our bond with milk. If you're my brother, drink this jug of milk." Ning Huaiming's face was heavy with an indescribable weight. To test whether Zhu Yuji could truly sense danger, Ning Huaiming put poison, which he had treasured for many years, into her milk pot. Pretending that he wanted to become sworn siblings with Zhu Yuji, he pushed the poisoned milk pot towards her. Ning Huaiming suppressed his panic and said with a smile, "Miss Wu, don't joke around. This is your ration. It's not appropriate for you to give it to me." The maid serving at the side thought Ning Huaiming was just being shy. Happy to foster the friendship between the two children, she chimed in with a smile, "Young Master Lin, this is goat's milk. You can drink it without worry." Seeing Ning Huaiming hesitate, Zhu Yuji pushed the pot towards him again. "Oh, you look down on me? If you don't drink, you're not giving me face." Ning Huaiming hadn't expected this to backfire. Seeing Zhu Yuji's displeasure, he felt that it would be rude not to drink. After much mental preparation, he finally picked up the milk pot with trembling hands and drank it all in one go. His decisive action didn't attract Zhu Yuji's attention. Instead, it was the empty milk pot that made her face change. "Hey, big brother, I didn't tell you to finish it all. That was my whole day's ration. I just wanted you to have a sip, just a little bit. You didn't leave me a single drop. Do you know how much of an impact drinking all my milk has on a self-aware baby?" Zhu Yuji's heartbroken cries didn't get a response from Ning Huaiming. At this moment, Ning Huaiming didn't have time to deal with the child. He had only one thought, to get back to his room and take the antidote. Without a word, he ran off. Zhu Yuji, still dramatically distressed, was dumbfounded at what's going on. "Big brother is angry, but I was just complaining casually. I didn't expect him to be more sensitive than me." Meanwhile, Ning Huaiming ran back to his room the fastest speed he could muster. He rummaged through his belongings, found the antidote, and swallowed it. He collapsed onto the bed, exhausted. But he didn't relax. The antidote wouldn't take effect that quickly. He was already experiencing the effects of the poison. He gritted his teeth. This Zhu Yuji is truly my nemesis. Fortunately, that person left me one antidote pill. It wasn't a complete waste, though, at least from Zhu Yuji's inner thoughts. She didn't guess that I wanted to harm her. But I've lost this opportunity. It will be difficult to try again. Perhaps it's time to leave. His thoughts trailed off as he succumbed to the effects of the poison and fell into a deep sleep. He slept from morning until night. He vaguely felt someone enter his room. An unmistakable gaze startled him awake. He opened his eyes to see a large face right in front of him. He instinctively screamed, "Big brother, are you all right?" Seeing Ning Huaimin calm down, Zhu Yuji asked, "Miss Wu, why are you here?" Zhu Yuji was open and honest with his big brother, the only one who could communicate with her without any barriers. "I heard you didn't eat dinner, so my elder brother brought me to see you. He went back when he saw you were sleeping." Then, her eyes noticed the red rash on Ning Huaimin's neck. Surprised, she pushed him down and pulled at his clothes to examine him closely. "Big brother, are you sick?" Ning Huaimin, already weakened by the poison, nearly suffocated from Zhu Yuji pulling at him, "that I'm just allergic to goat's milk. Let me go. I can't breathe." Hearing this, Zhu Yuji realized he wasn't seriously ill. She chuckled sheepishly. "Sorry, my new limbs aren't fully under control yet. Blame the goat's milk. It's so mean to make you allergic." Ning Huaimin felt more and more that Zhu Yuji was a strange being. He had no energy to deal with her, so he pretended to fall asleep. Seeing this, the chattering Zhu Yuji quieted down. Youth is so nice. Falling asleep just like that, without any self-talk. She unceremoniously lay down beside Ning Huaimin. "Big brother, with our relationship, if you can't bring yourself to forgive me, then just force yourself to." Then she really fell asleep. Ning Huaimin, who was pretending to sleep, since the person beside him had fallen asleep. He slowly opened his eyes and looked at the sleeping Zhu Yuji with a helpless expression. "Who's the one falling asleep just like that? Small but strong. For a moment there, I thought I saw my aunt. This child is truly extraordinary." Before he could ponder further, he received an unintentional punch to the face from the sleeping Zhu Yuji. The small fist left a red mark on his face. Ouch. He quickly rolled out of bed. Looking at the sleeping Zhu Yuji, his eyes flickered. They were alone now. If he just smothered her with a blanket, this troublesome variable would be eliminated. He was torn between two conflicting impulses. Just as he reached for the sheet, Zhu Jima silently appeared behind him. "Is Your Highness planning to admire the moon with me in the middle of the night?" Ensuring no unexpected interruptions, to sever the premonition from his dream, Ning Huaimin looked at the sleeping Zhu Yuji. He desperately wanted to take advantage of the moment and smother her with a blanket while no one was around. Facing such a small infant, he hesitated for a moment. Just as Ning Huaimin was about to make his move, Zhu Jima appeared silently behind him. "It's the middle of the night. The seventh prince wished to enjoy the moon with me." His plan interrupted. Ning Huaimin had to abandon this perfect opportunity. It was no longer appropriate for him to remain in the residence. With the composure of an adult soul, he replied flawlessly, "Young Master Zhu, you have a fine mood. Unfortunately, my people have been waiting outside the residence for 2 days. Let's save this for another time." After seeing Ning Huaimin off, Zhu Jima looked at his soundly sleeping little sister with a helpless expression. From his vantage point earlier, he had assumed Ning Huaimin was merely trying to cover his sister with a blanket. But given their identities and relationship, he wasn't sure if this was a good thing. He gently scratched her nose. "Little sister, you've gotten yourself into big trouble." The next day, Lu Rian learned that Ning Huaimin had left during the night and couldn't help but worry. Why did he leave in such a hurry? Zhu Jima sighed. He probably had urgent matters at home and couldn't delay. Unsure how to explain this to Zhu Yuji, the two entered the room and saw her greet them enthusiastically. Lu Rian was instantly cheered up, hugging her daughter and showering her with affection. Afterward, Zhu Yuji voiced her confusion. "But mother, didn't I go sleep with big brother last night? Where's my big brother?" Zhu Jima and Lu Rian could now hear Zhu Yuji's thoughts without physical contact. Hearing this, Zhu Jima answered cautiously, "I have some bad news. Your husband is gone." Upon hearing this, Zhu Yuji was stunned. Then she burst into tears. "What? Big brother is dead? He was fine last night. How'd he die so suddenly?" Big brother, I'm so sorry. You died so tragically. Zhu Jima's ears were nearly deafened. He quickly interrupted and explained, Little Five, don't cry, don't cry. I said he's gone, meaning he left, not that he died. The one who might die is his father. Huaiming, seventh prince, went back to fight for his family fortune to prevent it from falling into the hands of his wicked stepmother. Zhu Yuji sobbed. Then why couldn't you just say that clearly? Can you use the word gone so carelessly? Doesn't that mean I'll never see Big Brother again? My heart is broken again. He just came back to my arms, and I haven't even had enough time to cherish him. Suddenly sensing a murderous aura from outside the door, Zhu Yuji abruptly opened her eyes, her expression turning serious. Lu Ruyin and Zhu Jima also looked warily towards the door. They saw Zhu Qiaosheng, whom they hadn't seen for days, walk in with a group of people. What trouble is he trying to stir up this time? Zhu Yuji thought, wary and disgusted with her trashy father. This old fool, sneaky and shady, definitely up to no good. Lu Ruyin's eyes flashed. She went up to him with her usual bright smile. Husband, what brings you here to see little Wu? Zhu Qiaosheng feigned gentleness that a few Taoist priests from the Qingyun temple have arrived at the residence. They say they have important matters to discuss. My dear, you know that the Qingyun temple is the sacred temple where the current Empress Dowager gave birth to the emperor. We cannot be negligent. Without waiting for Lu Ruyin to speak, he invited the Taoist priests in. Lu Ruyin had a bad feeling. Suppressing her complex emotions, she looked at the Taoist priests. What brings you esteemed Taoist masters here? Based on her years of experience reading novels and watching dramas, Zhu Yuji began to analyze the situation. This kind of sudden visit from random Taoist priests or monks usually means the villain is trying to frame the protagonist. But this doesn't look like Mother is trying to frame that scumbag father of mine. The leading Taoist priest bowed. Princess Consort, a month ago, my master discovered a calamity star descending. After tracing it, we have tracked it here. Lu Ruyin understood their scheme. How vicious. Or a month ago? That could only be little Wu, who was barely a month old. Everyone looked at Zhu Yuji. Zhu Yuji blinked, also realizing what was happening. Are they talking about me? Lu Ruyin was amused by her daughter's innocent look. She responded silently, Yes, they're here for you, my silly girl. Zhu Qiaosheng put on a show of scolding, actually guiding the Taoist priest to confirm his words. How could my daughter be a calamity star? Perhaps the Taoist master is mistaken? The Taoist priest smoothly continued, Your Highness, the calamity star is adept at hiding. This humble Taoist has not yet calculated its specific identity. However, after observing the celestial phenomena, I have calculated that the calamity star will appear and cause chaos tonight at midnight. Tonight, I will set up a formation and perform a ritual here. By then, the identity of the calamity star will be known. Lu Ruyin forcefully interrupted, That's not right, Your Highness. How can you be sure what they say is true? Zhu Qiaosheng put on a hypocritical, comforting face that dear, don't panic. It is precisely because of this that we must confirm the identity of the calamity star. I'm doing this for little Wu's sake. Zhu Yuji suddenly recalled some of the plot and cried inwardly, Mother, your precious daughter is about to die again. I just remembered that this old fool later betrays the country and becomes Bain's spy in Nanyue. To hasten Nanyue's downfall, he finds some Taoist priests to spread rumors that the Nanyue royal family's reign is over. And there's proof that the Taoist priests he found are rumor-mongering repeat offenders. After hearing her daughter's inner thoughts, Lu Ruyin was shocked. She had originally thought that Zhu Qiaosheng was merely keeping a mistress and being fooled by her, allowing her to drain his resources. She hadn't expected him to be a traitor. The situation instantly escalated from a family matter to a national crisis. Her previous plans for revenge and counterattack needed to be adjusted. She echoed Zhu Qiaosheng's fabricated memories. Since Your Highness insists, I can only agree. I'll go rest now. Your Highness, please feel free. She carried Zhu Yuji back to their room to make preparations. And Zhu Qiaosheng, he found a few, but news of their arrival reached Ning Huaiming, who had recovered his identity. A tiger, however fierce, will not devour its cubs. He's using Yuji as a pawn. Anwei, assigned by Ning Huaiming to secretly observe Yuji, asked His Highness if he should send someone to intervene. Ning Huaiming scoffed. Why stop them? I'd love for someone to help me get rid of this menace. Go and do something for me. I want to add fuel to this fire. That father, to get rid of his own daughter, actually sought out Taoist priests to brand her as a calamity star, so he can get rid of her legitimately. Lu Ruyin and Zhu Jima returned to their quarters with Yuji, pondering how to overcome the midnight crisis. Zhu Jima had checked the city entry records. The Taoist priests at the residence did indeed have entry documents with Qingyuan Guan credentials. Qingyuan Guan is too far from the capital. Even if they tried to verify the priests' identities now, it would be too late. Lu Ruyin's already chilled heart froze over again. Zhu Qiaoxing's move was undeniably vicious. If the label of Calamity Star stuck to Yuji, even if she didn't die, she would be sent away. Mother and son were deeply worried. Zhu Jima suddenly thought of his younger sister's unusual silence. Why hadn't he heard anything from Yuji? They both turned to look at the foot of the bed. They saw Yuji frowning, deep in thought. No wonder she was so quiet. She was also thinking of a countermeasure. Both curious about Yuji's plan, they reached out and touched her head in unison, ready to listen to her thoughts. That damned old man. He's determined not to let me off. Tonight's main mission, survive midnight. Side mission, slap some faces. No system, no cheats. Looks like I'll have to rely on luck and my wits. Let's see, how do they plan to spread the rumors? Something about a special liquid used to write on the ground beforehand. After the liquid dries, they'll chant some nonsense and burn paper charms. When the burning charm touches the liquid, the fire will follow the lines. The pre-written words will then appear. Fine then, don't blame me. Let's start with some preemptive action. I'll show you what a real PR campaign looks like. Lu Ruyin and Zhu Jima were enlightened by her indignant inner thoughts. It seemed Yuji had a plan. They tacitly agreed not to let her know they could hear her thoughts. Zhu Jima summarized, Mother, to prevent those Taoist priests from actually targeting Little Five, why don't we strike first and say Little Five is a divine child? Also, I've discovered that the Taoist priest's father brought have a flammable liquid. Zhu Yuji's eyes shone with admiration. She hadn't expected her older brother to investigate so quickly. It was almost as if someone had given him spoilers. Lu Ruyin was laughing inwardly. My silly daughter, of course, someone gave you spoilers. She suppressed her laughter and replied to her son, in that case, we can turn the tables. They want a calamity? What does that have to do with my daughter being a divine maiden? Yuji chuckled at her mother and brother's plan. Exactly. And that night pearl I gave Big Brother last time? He didn't take it. We'll put it behind me to create a glowing halo. Perfect goddess vibes. Wait a minute. Why are you two talking so strangely? It's like you're in a play, all dramatic and stuff. And why are you both holding my head? Lu Ruyin and Zhu Jima turned away in unison, pretending not to hear. We're not telling you that we're experiencing the wisdom of a divine maiden up close. Soon, midnight arrived. Both sides gathered. Zhu Yuji, dressed like a little celestial being, sat in the center of the altar. Your Royal Highness, the Prince and Princess Consort, the channel is about to begin. Zhu Yuji looked at her father's hypocritical expression. Asterisk, such a grand production. It's clear how much he wants me dead. Asterisk, Zhu Qiaosheng was about to have the Taoist priest begin the ritual, when the doors were violently thrown open. General Pei of the patrol battalion stormed in with his men. Secure the manor gates. No one leaves tonight. Your Highness, I received a message from the palace. The Taoist priest from Qingyuan Guan claim a calamity star will appear in the manor tonight. His Majesty ordered the manor sealed and sent me to investigate. Zhu Qiaosheng was surprised the emperor knew, but he didn't dwell on it. This was good news for him. It was heaven sent. Once Yuji was identified as the calamity star, even the empress couldn't help them. The Taoist priest, having received the order, began his pretentious ritual. He lit a paper charm and threw it onto the prepared ground. The flames quickly spread, forming the character 5. General Pei reacted. Could this refer to 5th Miss Zhu? Is Miss Zhu the calamity? Fear rippled through the crowd. Yuji watched the superstitious crowd with disdain. If only they'd read more books, they wouldn't be so easily fooled. Zhu Qiaosheng dramatically clutched General Pei, feigning fatherly concern. General Pei, there must be some mistake. My little 5 is not a calamity, General Pei. The general retorted, you should tell that to His Majesty. He then pushed Zhu Qiaosheng to the ground and immediately ordered Yuji to be taken away. Zhu Qiaosheng, sprawled on the ground, smirked triumphantly. His satisfaction was short-lived. Someone shouted, "Look, the fire hasn't stopped." New characters are appearing. Below the large character 4-5, the words "Divine Maiden's Line," plucking stars and bringing them down appeared. Seeing this, everyone understood. Miss Wu wasn't a calamity at all, but a divine maiden. The crowd was filled with surprised awe. They looked at Zhu Yuji on the platform. The night pearl she had previously placed behind her now had its greatest effect. The soft glow further confirmed that she was the divine maiden. Lu Rian smiled. The scumbag scheme had failed. Instead of killing his daughter, he'd pushed her towards divinity. He must be vomiting blood now. It's so satisfying. When framed by her scumbag father, she was a calamity. But her mother, Lu Ruyan, turned the tables, changing her from calamity to divine maiden. The scumbag father schemed for so long, only to make wedding clothes for someone else. He secretly hated this daughter. She truly was a pearl cast before swine. Zhu Yuji, empowered by the night pearl, appeared even more divine. Everyone present firmly believed she was the divine maiden. Ignoring her scumbag father's murderous glare, she raised her chubby little hand. She pointed at her scumbag father. As everyone wondered what it meant, Zhu Qiaosheng's clothes suddenly caught fire. Forgetting his princely dignity, Zhu Qiaosheng was so startled that he frantically tried to put out the flames. Tonight's events had repeatedly deviated from his plans. Zhu Qiaosheng was completely flustered. In fact, the mysterious fire was caused by Lu Ruyan, who had sprinkled spirit powder on him when he wasn't paying attention. To perfectly coordinate with her daughter's counterattack, she pretended to be frightened and exclaimed loudly, "Could the calamity be my husband?" Guided by her words, everyone present firmly believed this was the case. The divine maiden was going to eliminate the calamity. The scumbag father was denounced and ostracized by the crowd. Zhu Yuji was inwardly delighted. Old fool, even if you say you're not the calamity now, no one will believe you. But she still underestimated her scumbag father's shamelessness. Zhu Qiaosheng reacted quickly, rolling on the ground and crying out in apparent pain, "I was wrong. Divine maiden, I was wrong. Please spare me. You wouldn't want anything to happen to your father, would you?" Zhu Qiaosheng knew very well that explanations were useless now. He could only accept that his daughter was the divine maiden. He pretended to roll around to indicate the calamity was gone. A moment later, he looked up blankly. "How did I get here, my wife? Why are there so many people around the manor?" No matter how speechless everyone was, the label of calamity was removed from him. Zhu Yuji sighed deeply, as expected. Life is like a play. It all depends on acting. Knowing she couldn't do anything more to her scumbag father, she sat quietly without any further action. General Lei looked at her thoughtfully. Could the divine maiden truly be real? He immediately excused himself to report back to the emperor. In an alley not far from the manor, Ning Huaiming received a report from Enwei. He had sent the news to the Nanyue emperor, intending to add fuel to the fire. But unexpectedly, it became a helpful east wind, turning Zhu Yuji from calamity to divine maiden. It was truly frustrating. He looked up and asked Enwei, "Where's the person looking for Sun Fangyin?" Enwei replied, "That pay fellow just returned to the palace to request an imperial decree. I presume within an hour, the Nanyue emperor will issue a decree." Ning Huaiming breathed a sigh of relief. "Then we'll wait and see how the Nanyue emperor will treat this divine maiden. Being a divine maiden isn't easy. If she doesn't play the part well, it could be fatal." Indeed, an hour later, everyone in Prince Anping's manor knelt to receive the imperial decree, be by the mandate of heaven. The emperor decrees. With peace talks between the two nations imminent, Prince Anping is ordered to collaborate with Honglu Temple King Bei-yin to discuss the alliance. Hearing this, Zhu Yuji thought, just as expected, it's the same as in the plot. The old fool is going to discuss peace with Bei-yin. If nothing unexpected happens, the talks will break down and the old fool will be scared witless. "Haha, you old fool, your good days are over," she gloated inwardly, not expecting to be implicated herself. The latter half of the imperial decree drove her mad. Hearing that Prince Anping's daughter has the aura of a divine maiden, she is permitted to attend the peace talks to ensure their success. Zhu Yuji's expression changed drastically. "What the heck? I'm involved too? Life is hard," little Wu sighed.